with breaking news. We have the president at the UN General Assembly today, just met with the president of Colombia and was asked some questions about Judge Kavanaugh. Let's watch together.
Trying to make him into something, let's be nice about it, that he's not. He's a high-quality person. He's a great intellect. You're also not seeing him on his footing. This isn't his footing. He's never been here before. He's never had any charges like this. I mean, charges come up from 36 years ago that are totally unsubstantiated. I mean, you, as watching this, as the president of a great country, Colombia, you must say, how is this possible? 36 years ago, nobody ever knew about it, nobody ever heard about it, and now a new charge comes up, and she said, well, it might not be him, and there were gaps, and she said she was totally inebriated, and she was all messed up, and she doesn't know it was him, but it might have been him. Oh, gee, let's not make him a Supreme Court judge because of that. This is a con game being played by the Democrats. Also, take a look at the lawyers. These lawyers are the same lawyers that have been fighting for years. They keep fighting. Take a look at the lawyers. And it's a shame that you can do this to a person's life. And I'll tell you, maybe even more important, who's going to want to go before this system to be a Supreme Court judge or to be a judge or to be even a politician? I can tell you that false accusation and false accusations of all types are made against a lot of people. This is a high-quality person, and I certainly hope, it would be a horrible insult to our country if this doesn't happen. And it'll be a horrible, horrible thing for future political people, or judges, anything you want. It'd be a horrible thing. It cannot be allowed to happen. And the Democrats are playing a con game, C-O-N, a con game. It's a shame. And they know it's a con game. They know he's high quality. And they wink at each other. They're winking. They know it's a con game. Go ahead.
Should the second accuser be allowed to testify on Thursday? Would you welcome that?
Well, I look at the second accuser. The second accuser has nothing. The second accuser doesn't even know. She thinks maybe it could have been him, maybe not. She admits that she was drunk. She admits time lapses. There are time lapses. This is a person, and this is a series of statements that's going to take one of the most talented, one of the greatest intellects from a judicial standpoint in our country, going to keep him off the United States Supreme Court. You know, I said something this morning. He has a chance to be one of the greatest justices ever in the United States Supreme Court. What a shame. And what a shame it is for so many other people whose world that isn't. That's not his world, and it's not their world. These are legitimate people. They're not in the world of con, and the world of obstruct, and the world of resist. He never thought this was even a possibility. He's startled. He can't believe this is happening. His wife is devastated. His children are devastated. I don't mean they're like, oh, gee, I'm a little unhappy. They're devastated. And it's because these Democrats, and they know. When I see Schumer, who never even saw this woman, I believe her 100%. And I see these other senators that I deal with on a daily basis. I know them better than they know themselves. It's just a game for them. But it's a very dangerous game for our country. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And the president there going as far to defend his Supreme Court nominee, to say that this is a con game by Democrats. And he earlier had said that he might be, according to the White House, open to hearing a second accuser against Judge Kavanaugh. But you heard him saying right there that the woman, the second accuser, was inebriated, according to her, doesn't remember some of the pertinent details in her allegations against Judge Kavanaugh. He says that this is Kavanaugh's not his personal footing. He's never been in this situation before. The president there, and you might not have been able to see the way it was framed, but he was standing next to the president of Colombia because they were having a meeting, and these questions from reporters came up. We got a note quickly in breaking news fashion. Let's get to this, and now we see why. Right on point as we continue the conversation, Melissa, here on Outnumbered.
I'll go back to you. Finish your thought.
Yeah, and I think I want to pick up where the president said that this is a con job, because we've seen what happens when Democrats can't go through the legal process. This is what happens. They decide that they want it in the court of public opinion because they don't have enough evidence. We saw it in the Duke lacrosse case. We saw it in the University of Virginia case, where the Rolling Stones wrote this big article about that and end up having to pay these guys because they did not have enough evidence to take this to a court of law.
How did that have to do with Democrats?
The judge keeps saying that he wants fairness. He's not going to get fairness. The only way he's going to get fairness is in a court of law.
Tommy, you know what the president said there, we kind of get to a place where you can see it will only be women who are nominated for posts and promoted to CEO at this point, because anybody else, it seems like, could be vulnerable. At the same time, you know, you hear from executives who say, I don't want to hire women anymore because it's too dangerous for me. There are so many externalities to this.
Well, that puts women in a bad position. It really does, because it means that we're getting a position not because of our merit, but because we are the safe option, or it means we're not getting a position because the males that we're around feel that it's too dangerous. They're afraid of lawsuits. They're afraid of allegations. So it puts women in a difficult position. And furthermore, I live in Los Angeles. That's kind of the birthplace of this whole Me Too movement. It started out in what I believe is a great thing, which was bringing women out that had actually been assaulted. They were coming out and saying, this happened to me. We've been quiet for too long. And then it turned ugly. Then it turned to this. It turned into, I can make some politically convenient allegations. I can ruin someone's life. I can ruin someone's family. And we can do it all in the name of the Me Too movement. But really, it's Democrat driven. It's Hollywood driven. And I think the American people are really sick and tired of it.
Adrienne, I bet you want to respond to that.
Yeah, look, here's what I want to say. If Judge Kavanaugh truly believes he is innocent, and we don't know, right? We'll see what happens on Thursday. And by the way, this is not going to be decided in front of a jury. It's going to be decided by, you know, a panel of senators, and who will largely be driven by the court of public opinion.
The statute of limitations has run out.
Exactly, 36 years ago. But if he truly is innocent, why not allow for an FBI investigation?
He's not the one that's blocking it.
If I were him, I would say, you know what? I want my name cleared, so I want the FBI, I want the law enforcement
So can I just step in for a minute? Because we have now
this.
gotten into a place, both with Ms. Ford, and now you're suggesting that Judge Kavanaugh do it. Are we at a place where American citizens, just sole citizens, you know, just regular people like us, can just say, FBI, go do this?
Yeah.
Because as Melissa just said,
jurisdiction.
he's not saying that he doesn't want to see it happen, but it's the Senate's place. It's other people's place to call for an investigation. It's not the judges, and quite frankly, it's not Ms. Ford's either.
He is trying to seek a confirmation to the highest court in the land, with a lot at stake here. So yes, he does have to. If I were him, I would do everything in my power to say, you know what, let's get an outside convening entity here to try to determine what happened.
Are you going to call the same thing for Keith Ellison, who's the vice chair of your party?
Absolutely, I would.
FBI investigation, because you're the first Democrat to do so.
You know what? I actually think Keith Ellison should step down from the DNC.
Well, you're the first.
So I'm.
Is that enough? I mean, considering everything that he's accused of doing, is stepping down enough, giving up a paycheck?
Well,
you don't want to see it adjudicated? You don't
absolutely.
want to see it?
I personally choose to always believe the women in this circumstance.
But how can you, as a woman, how can you say that just because we're women, we should always be believed? You don't think that women are capable of lying? You don't think women are capable of scheming? I mean, you worked for Hillary Clinton, so I'm guessing you know that. But you think we should just take women's word as gospel? That's infuriating to me as a woman, because I don't look at other women and say, I'm just going to believe you because we have the same biological making. I think that's wrong.
This is actually the problem that we have right now. With a lot of women who are scared to come forward. I believe that when something happened, in this case 36 years ago, and Dr. Ford finally has the courage to come forward, and a lot of other women are finally having the courage to come forward.
She didn't have the courage. Y'all pushed her out there.
She chose to come forward herself. She chose to come forward herself.
Hang on, one at a time. Let her finish. Go ahead, Adrienne.
No, the bottom line is, I think when we have these conversations like this, we are discouraging women who truly have been victims of sexual assault and harassment from being able to come forward.
Well,
So
the whole
don't you think we've
process
gotten
is discouraging for
a
women.
little past that, though? I mean, there was the discouragement to come forward, but now we're at a point where it seems like people feel comfortable going forward. And didn't we kind of see this coming when people started saying you have to believe the women no matter what? I mean, a red light went off in a lot of people's minds where you said, wait a second, it doesn't make sense to believe any group of people, no matter what they say, based on the group that they are. Maybe you listen to them and you go look into it and you show them respect, but you don't automatically decide they're right. I think she has been listened to and she has been shown respect and she's been invited to come and tell her story. I'm not totally convinced we're going to see her on Thursday because her team keeps changing the demands. I mean, at first they said that they wouldn't have senators involved, and then, you know, there was somebody else was going to ask the questions. Now they're offended by that. I mean, they keep kind of changing the rules around it, but I think everybody deserves to be heard and to be respected, but you don't get to be believed automatically.
Lawrence, I want to give you the last word, just in terms of what we could see later this week and what you're watching for.
Well, I don't think she's going to show. I think the people have been very critical of the people asking questions because, quite frankly, the story hasn't checked out with the witnesses. People are saying they weren't there. People are saying they don't understand why they were mentioned. And I'm sorry, I used to be a Democrat. And I remember the stories of the Democrats when they told me, remember Emmett Till, because people do lie. And so this is new for the Democratic Party because this is not justice. This man is not having a fair hearing. And this should be settled in a court of law. But guess what? It can't. So this should be a done deal.
All right, there you go.